So, I would like to start the hearing by calling on the presentation from Nordion Inc. as outlined in Commission Member Document 15H 7.1, 7.1A, and 7.1B. I understand that Mr. McIntosh will make the presentation. Please proceed.
Good morning. Good morning, President Binder, members of the Commission, and CNSC staff. My name is Scott McIntosh, and I'm President of the Gamma Technologies and Corporate Services Business Unit for Nordion. Over the next few minutes, Rick Beekmans, our Director of Environmental Health and Safety, and I will explain why we're applying for a new license, why it's essential to our business, and how we prepared for the next decade and beyond. In addition, we'll address questions about the recent fire at Nordion's Ottawa facility. I'd like to start today by addressing our licensing term request. The Nordion team has worked meticulously over the last year in preparation for today's hearing. We're confident in the work we've done in the current 10-year term, building systems to support our safety programs that have and will continue to serve us in the coming licensing period. With increased public oversight implemented by CNSC, such as yearly public hearings for licensee performance review and our own public information program, Nordion originally requested a 20-year site license. Having said that, we understand a 20-year site license has never been granted to a Canadian organization, and that it might be challenging for CNSC to support a 20-year term. As much as we are confident that we're able to support the requirements of a 20-year license, we stand before you today requesting a 10-year license or greater if the Commission should deem it appropriate. During the current licensing period, which commenced in 2005, Nordion underwent a significant evolution. We changed our name from MDS Inc. to Nordion Canada Inc. We divested 4 significant product lines to focus strategically on Gamma Technologies and Medical Isotope business units. In 2014, Sterigenics International LLC, a US-based global leader in contract sterilization services and Nordion's largest cobalt customer, acquired Nordion. Even with this change, we remain a standalone business within Sterigenics. We remain headquartered in Ottawa, and we continue to operate under the Nordion name. And through the changes, an unwavering commitment has remained to being a fully compliant organization, always adopting and often developing best practices to maintain the safety of our employees, customers, patients, and the community at large. And this commitment continues in every way under our current ownership. We are and we will remain a global healthcare organization. We employ 382 employees, with 331 of those people located in the Ottawa facility. We offer jobs in the nuclear and health science field to many professionals. Where employment for scientists has decreased markedly in Ottawa, our need for scientists and engineers continues unabated. Our Gamma Technologies and Medical Isotopes products continue to improve the health and well-being of millions of people around the world each day, including tens of thousands of Canadians. It's highly likely that our products have in some way touched you, a family member, a friend, or a neighbor. In our medical isotopes business, we manufacture a unique portfolio of isotopes which our customers then incorporate into products that are used in medical procedures for patients. Our medical isotopes are used in the diagnosis and treatment of disease, including applications for cardiology, neurology, oncology, and research. One of our primary isotopes is molybdenum-99, the parent of one of the most commonly used imaging agents, technetium-99m. Technetium-99m is used in a variety of diagnostic procedures such as heart, lung, brain, and bone scans. In our Gamma Technologies business, we manufacture 2 types of cobalt-60 sources. The first, and most widely used, is sourced primarily from Canadian nuclear power reactors and helps sterilize more than 40% of the world's single-use medical devices. Equipment such as sutures, surgeon's gloves, syringes, and in fact, our parent company, Sterigenics, is the world's leading provider of this service to medical device manufacturers. Irradiation of food products to ensure safe consumption, spices, for example, is another application. The second type of cobalt-60 is our high specific activity, or HSA sources. This is obtained from Canadian nuclear laboratories in Chalk River and used for gamma therapy equipment primarily to treat brain cancer. There are very few companies around the world that do what Nordion does. Because we are a health science organization that provides products for clinicians to treat patients, and we operate a nuclear facility, we are certainly one of the most regulated companies in the world. We're very committed to complying with all regulations for safety of our employees, our customers, the environment, and our community. As a testament to our commitment to safety, in 2013, Nordion was recognized as Canada's safest employer among all manufacturers by Thomson Reuters. In addition to being recognized for our safety standards, the City of Ottawa also highly regards Nordion's regulatory and safety commitments, having passed a motion on June 8th of this year in support of our relicensing term. This also illustrates our ongoing visibility in the community. In 2005, the CNSC granted us an unprecedented 10-year license. And this decision reflected confidence in Nordion's environmental health and safety standards and policies and practices as a nuclear business. And over that 10-year license term, we believe we've demonstrated that your decision was sound. We have continuously strengthened our environmental management system and radiation protection program. We have sought and achieved certification to ISO 14001. We have developed, maintained, and enhanced our public information program. We have steadily improved transportation safety and security, and we have invested in numerous improvements to our facility, and much, much more. 2 weeks ago, we had an incident that required us to execute our emergency response plan, or ERP, when repairs to the roof of our facility in Ottawa resulted in a fire. While we're still working with experts on the actual investigation, initial results indicate that implementation of our emergency response plan went very, very smoothly, which is a result of years of practice and a sophisticated and detailed emergency response plan. In addition, it was combined with strong relationships we have built with the city, with fire, paramedic, police services. In a few moments, Mr. Beekmans will talk more about this event as part of the Emergency Management Safety and Control area. It's appropriate to note that no radiological release occurred during this incident and that no employees or members of the community were injured as a result. Beyond our everyday business, Nordion is also highly regarded for its corporate social responsibility. In fact, our level of community support has continued to grow, with Nordion supporting numerous local not-for-profit organizations, including local hospitals such as the Queensway Carleton, CHEO, the Royal Ottawa, and the Ottawa Hospital. As a community partner, we support a variety of initiatives that reflect our core values, while also providing rewarding opportunities for our employees in the community to get involved. At Nordion, of course, we do long-term business planning and preparation. It's part of being a business that intends to be here for many, many decades. We have a strategy to supply stable, long-term medical isotopes in cobalt-60 over the next decade and beyond. We have current supply contracts in place beyond 2028, and thousands of industry members depend on Nordion for the critical products we produce and deliver every day. This again includes customers, physicians, and their patients. And with that, I'll turn the floor over to Rick Beekmans, who will provide greater detail on progress over the last 10 years and steps that we're taking to ensure that we're successful for the future.
Thank you, Scott. Good morning, President Binder, members of the Commission, and the CNSC staff. I will now walk you through the following key performance topics: management systems, radiation safety, environmental protection, conventional health and safety, emergency management, security, and our public information program. Before we discuss the safety and control areas, or SCAs, I want to explain to everyone where Nordion is located. Our primary production facility, the Canada Operations Building, or KOB, is located in Ottawa, Ontario, on a parcel of 56.8 acres. This Google map shows the location of our Class 1B nuclear facility. The surrounding area is a mixture of industrial park and subdivisions. I'd like to re-emphasize something Scott said. Nordion's purpose is to make a distinctive contribution to the health and well-being of people around the world. We are committed to achieve that purpose without adversely affecting the community in which we work and live. We have a comprehensive document management system that provides the basis of our programs and procedures that protect health, safety, security, and the environment. The first safety and control area I want to describe is our management system. The heart of the management system is our quality assurance program for safety, which was implemented within the licensing period in December 2006. The quality assurance program for safety provides the means of controlling those activities that affect all CNSC licensed activities conducted under our Class 1B nuclear substance and processing facility operating license. Nordion revised the quality assurance program for safety throughout the licensing period as a result of performance reviews and to address CNSC requirements. One such proactive enhancement was to ensure appropriate environmental health and safety experts are involved in the non-conformance systems. Their involvement ensures the best decisions are being made to identify, address, and correct issues that impact the environment, health, and safety in a timely manner. We proactively expanded the scope of our annual performance reviews to include the review of additional performance indicators such as incidents, deviations, and complaints, just to name a few. As a result, trends are identified more quickly and improvement programs were added. We proactively improved our change management process. The hazard checklist, which is part of this process, was streamlined to better assess proposed changes and their effect on safety. We added an environmental health and safety requirements checklist, which is completed for all changes or projects with a potential impact on the environment or the health and safety of the public or staff at Nordion. These changes ensure early and adequate environmental health and safety oversight of any new projects or design changes. As our business grew over the last 10 years, we proactively strengthened our management system to meet regulatory requirements. Today, we have 50% more operational controls to support our management systems than we did in 2005. The controls ensure regulatory compliance of all our safety systems and processes. We made a significant improvement to our management systems in 2012 when we implemented the Electronic Quality Management System, or EQMS, that facilitated document management and procedural training. Today, all of Nordion's procedures, policies, and specifications are now online. As a result, this allows for electronic creation, versioning, review and approval, storage, retrieval, and distribution of documents, as well as notification, tracking of, and completion of training requirements. The second safety and control area is radiation safety. We continue to implement measures to keep radiation doses received by workers and members of the public as low as reasonably achievable, or ALARA. This was achieved through management control over work practices, personnel qualifications and training, control of occupational and public exposure to radiation, and planning for unusual situations. I will show you our performance over the current licensing period. Radiation doses are reviewed and assessed in accordance with the ALARA principle. All employees who regularly work in the processing area are classified as nuclear energy workers, or NEWs, and are assigned monthly dosimeters. On the screen, the solid black line at the top represents the regulatory limit of 50 millisieverts per year dose to an NEW. The green bars at the bottom of the chart are the maximum doses to any of our NEWs in a given year. As you can see, the doses received are well below the regulatory limits. The orange line in the middle represents the volume of cobalt shipments, which, as you can see, have significantly increased in the last couple of years. Although shipments increased, doses to cobalt shippers resulted in lower maximums. We reduced the dose through various improvements. One such improvement was the installation of a concrete shielding wall in the facility where shipping packages are stored prior to shipment. This change reduced radiation levels and provided a designated area for inactive work to occur. We designed and manufactured an innovative supplemental temporary shield to provide additional protection to shippers while they are working more closely with loaded cobalt shipping containers. These lead jacket shields have proven to reduce the dose associated with the tasks of working on a container by 75%. In addition to these initiatives to reduce dose, we made further improvements to radiation safety over the licensing period, both in the facility and in our equipment. The facility improvements we made include moving the I-131 process to a new hot cell facility and adding an uninterruptible power supply to further reduce the potential of I-131 emissions in the event of a power failure. Decommissioning of the carbon-14 facility and replacing and upgrading various components of our alarm monitoring system, as well as the remaining improvements listed on this slide. The equipment improvements we made include replacing hand and foot monitors with whole body contamination monitors, so that now all 3 of our major exits have whole body contamination monitors. Installing additional airflow samplers at release monitoring points and designing and fabricating new airflow monitors. And installing a new resin removal system for our cobalt pool deionizer, as well as the remaining improvements on this slide. Now let's talk about the dose to the public. The top left chart seen on this screen uses a logarithmic scale, and the bottom right chart uses a standard scale on the y-axis. Both charts demonstrate that based on Nordion's emissions, the highest potential dose to the public was 0.04 millisieverts per year, which is well below the regulatory limit of 1 millisievert per year and the estimated 6.1 millisieverts per year that the average person receives from a medical and ubiquitous background sources. We're now going to talk about radiation incidents and improvements. This chart is a summary of the radiation exposure events for the licensing period. As you can see, at the beginning of the licensing period, we experienced some incidents, and over the years, we decreased the number of incidents as a result of improving our programs. This demonstrates the strength of our systems. There have been 10 radiation incidents during the licensing period, but none since 2009. These incidents were primarily due to TLDs being returned late and processed without the controlled dosimeters. We've had a number of ALERA reports in 2007, mainly due to issues with TLD handling, which caused non-personal doses to be recorded, or issues with our Iridium-192 facility. As a result, we put in place improved procedural and engineering controls. As well, we developed a new safety training program specifically for personnel processing Iridium-192. The continuous decrease in both radiation incidents and ALERA reports after this point are due to the many efforts I've just described. The third safety and control area I want to elaborate upon is the environmental protection. Nordion has an established environmental protection program to manage actual and potential environmental aspects resulting from activities, products, and services. The program protects health, safety, security, and the environment. Our comprehensive programs control and monitor all aspects of our operations that could have a significant impact on the environment, such as those listed on the screen. As Scott mentioned in his introduction, the Ottawa site has been certified with the ISO 14001 standard of environmental management systems since 2006. Environmental management systems is the framework that helps reduce the risk of non-compliance and improve environmental health and safety performance, benefiting both employees and the public. Although having an environmental management system is a requirement of the CNSC regulations, Nordion had gone a step further. and voluntarily certified our systems, which means it was audited by a third-party BSI to confirm conformance with the international standard. As part of this certification, we established environmental objectives regularly to continually improve our performance. Some of the outcomes we've achieved over the licensing period include reductions in energy use, reductions in hazardous and non-hazardous waste, reductions in radioactive waste. We significantly improved our environmental monitoring program at the onset of the current licensing period to monitor and measure effluent releases and environmental contamination. All production operations are contained with cells, glove boxes, and fume hoods. We ventilate air from these containment systems through an extensive nuclear ventilation system comprised of roughing and high-efficiency particulate arrestants, or HEPA filters, where appropriate, activated charcoal filters. Limits for radioactive emissions are determined by the derived release limit, or DRLs. The DRLs take into account the critical pathway analysis and the most probable location for the highest radiation exposure. As you see on your screen, the upper left chart is using a logarithmic scale, and the bottom right uses a standard scale. Both charts reflect airborne releases from 2005 to 2014. So what's the story in this chart? Well, it's a positive story. The trend for increases is decreasing and very low to begin with. Radioactive liquid waste is collected and transported to a licensed radioactive waste management facility. Other wastewater from our production area is collected in holding tanks and then sampled and analyzed to ensure that it is in compliance with license conditions prior to release. All liquid effluent releases have been below the Nordion action level and well below regulatory limits throughout the licensing period. Liquid releases over the last 5 years are below the 0.008% of the DRL. We conduct soil and groundwater sampling to monitor environmental contamination. The results of soil sampling conducted over the licensing period indicate that no radionuclides attributable to license activities were detected. Groundwater sampling for non-radiological contaminants demonstrated no significant changes in the groundwater compared to the results of an assessment conducted in 2005. Regular sampling for radiological contaminants in the groundwater external to the building began in 2013. The results of this sampling determined that only normally occurring radionuclides were detected. We made the following improvements to our environmental protection program. Installed multi-channel analyzer, or MCAs, to more accurately monitor xenon releases from our Moly 99 and xenon 133 processes. Installed carbon-14 monitoring equipment to monitor carbon-14 releases. We upgraded the Canada Operations Building delay tank level indicators and monitoring systems. We restored 4 groundwater wells and added 1 new well to improve the sampling for radioactive monitoring, and added additional soil sampling locations in 2010. The fourth safety and control area is conventional health and safety. As part of this SCA, Nordion has established an occupational health and safety program to prevent, manage, and respond to potential or actual hazards or emergencies in the workplace. As seen on these charts, using total incident rate and lost time injury rate as indicators, our statistics show that Nordion's results remain considerably lower than the average Schedule I Ontario employer rates. On the left chart, the yellow line illustrates our total incident rate. The green line on the right chart illustrates our lost time injury rate. The blue lines represent the average Schedule I Ontario employer rates. The charts do show a small upward trend in our statistics in 2014. The 2014 number uses a 14-month period as a result of a change in our fiscal year. 3 low back incidents or ergonomic-related injuries did occur in the last 2 months of our extended fiscal year. Which brings us to our next slide, improvements in our conventional health and safety program. Issues related to low back and upper body strains have been a challenge in recent years. In 2013, we recognized this and proactively initiated an update to our back safety awareness training program. We developed a number of initiatives since that time, including we created 2 90-second stretch videos to be used by staff at the start and end of shifts. We organized a back safety challenge, as well as the other improvements listed on this slide. In addition to updating our back safety awareness training, in this licensing period, we added new programs, procedures, and improved our near-miss reporting. We added a job hazard analysis program, a confined space program, and a material handling program, just to name a few. Our fifth safety and control area is emergency management. Emergency management includes our emergency response planning, which is required to reduce or mitigate operational impacts and potential environmental, health, and safety impacts that may occur in the event of an emergency. Nordion has an extensive emergency preparedness program to respond to various types of emergency situations, including on-site and off-site emergencies. We have a number of emergency response plans, or ERPs, to address various emergency situations and often work in partnership with local fire and police departments. These plans outline response actions to be taken to minimize potential environmental, health, and safety impacts. Depending on the nature and the scale of an emergency, the appropriate ERP is activated. The ERPs are routinely reviewed, updated, and tested in the form of drills, desktop training exercises, and full-scale evacuation exercises. We're just going to switch slides here for a moment. Thank you. As you're aware, we're just switching to the deck with the fire slides. I'll just give you a moment to get those. As you are aware, we implemented our ERP on the morning of August 6th. To provide you with a summary of those events, today we have some additional slides to show you. Just following 10 a.m. on the morning of August 6th, some employees identified smoke in our Canada Operations Building at our Ottawa facility. An employee activated the fire alarm, and all non-emergency response personnel and guests calmly evacuated the building in accordance with our fire safety plan. Nordion's emergency response personnel identified that the fire was on the roof of the office area within our Canada Operations Building. The fire occurred where the roof of the office area connects to a wall section that houses the fan room. This is part of our nuclear facility. Please see the arrow pointing to this arrow in the upper left-hand picture. Below and next to where the fire occurred is a combination of production area hallways and the fan room. The fire department arrived within minutes and were escorted onto the roof and into the building for secondary sweeps of personnel. At this time, we think the fire was a result of maintenance that was being conducted on the roof by a third party. Specifically, they were applying new roofing materials. See the bottom right-hand photo. Over the existing base layer membrane. This work required the use of blowtorches. The roof design is a standard design used in industrial facilities, and the maintenance work was routine in nature. A number of steps were taken immediately to ensure the safety of our employees, the environment, and our community. And media statements were issued to the community and to our employees, providing updates on the situation. There were no radiological releases, and no employees or members of the community were injured as a result of the incident. There was no contamination found on any of the affected areas or in the water used for fire suppression, nor on Nordion or city responders or any of their equipment. The fire was contained and extinguished quickly. The building was returned to Nordion's control at approximately 12:45. Less than 3 hours from when the alarm sounded. By the end of the day, we had cleaned up any water used to extinguish the fire, confirmed there was no damage to safety systems, and restored the roof integrity with temporary repairs. I would like to add that our emergency response went very smoothly, which we attribute to thorough emergency response planning, training, years of practice, and solid collaboration with emergency services. I am very pleased with the efforts put forward by members of the Nordion team and the Ottawa Emergency Services. The Nordion team initiated an investigation immediately to ensure we receive accurate and timely information. Since the incident occurred on August 6th, we have stopped all hot work on the roof and on the site, started gathering pertinent information through interviews and reviewing of records, engaged third-party experts to assist with reviewing the emergency response, identifying root cause of the fire, and to assist with engineering design of the roof repairs. Between now and September 4th, Nordion personnel working with input from the third parties will continue their investigation, and we will submit an event report within the 21-day time period. I'll now return to the original slide deck that we had provided. Slide 44. We improved our emergency management program over the current licensing period. We updated the program model and documents to use the Incident Management System, or IMS. We revised the Emergency Preparedness Program. We also made the many improvements listed on the screen. In the areas of fire protection, we developed and implemented a fire hazard analysis and a fire protection program, a program to conduct routine fire inspections, and revise Nordion's fire safety plan. As a result of implementing the emergency response on August 6th, we are working with experts to determine why the fire occurred and how to continue to improve our emergency response and fire protection programs. The sixth safety and control area that I will discuss is security. Nordion has a long history of having a strong security program, one that continuously evolves and improves as security threats and regulations change. Over the last decade, we proactively made significant improvements outside the facility, such as security fencing, bollards, and exterior lighting. And we proactively improved equipment, namely our security control center, alarms, and camera systems, IT network security, and we hired highly trained and experienced security personnel. The final area that I will review is our public information program. We launched the public information program in 2006, and as Scott mentioned in his introduction, we greatly expanded the program since the launch. We designed the program to achieve three goals: to build public awareness, to proactively engage identified stakeholders, and to obtain stakeholder feedback and create a two-way dialogue. Since the launch of the program, we used the following vehicles to communicate with our stakeholders: permission-based emails, ads in the local newspaper, and our website. In this last year, we made a significant number of improvements. We expanded our program by adding new vehicles to engage the public, and we increased the visibility and expanded the content of our environmental health and safety section on our website to make it more accessible and understandable to the public. While we are committed to traditional communication vehicles, we have improved our program with the addition of new ways to share information with and engage the community. We added social media, in-person get-togethers, and surveys to our program. With social media, we get likes on our Facebook page, retweets on our tweets, and shares on our LinkedIn posts. However, it is the in-person meetings and the surveys that are the most successful new vehicles that achieve our goals of engaging the community, stakeholders, obtaining feedback, and creating a two-way dialogue. In December 2014, we hosted Nordion's Community Cafe, an in-person meeting with members of the community. Through a question and answer period, participants asked that we publish information about our emergency preparedness plan, and since we cannot take the public on tours, participants also asked for a virtual tour of our facility. In June, we published the emergency preparedness plan on our website. And we've been working on a virtual tour for the last few months and expect to have it released this fall. In 2014, we also completed 2 surveys of people in our local community. I'd like to share some key insights revealed from these surveys. We learned that the preferred communication vehicle is email. We have a positive baseline awareness level, and we will continue to increase awareness with the community. Furthermore, of those in the community who are aware of Nordion, the majority rated Nordion's Ottawa facility high on safety, between an 8 and 10 on a scale of 10. Nordion is a responsible community citizen with an established active public information program that builds awareness and engages the public. We plan to continue with the tactics mentioned and will continue to find new ways to improve our program over the coming years. Thank you for your time. Scott will now wrap up. Scott?
Thank you, Rick. President Binder, Commission members, and CNSC staff. To summarize, Nordion has, for over 50 years, demonstrated the safe operation of its facility in Ottawa. Our request for a license term of 10 years or greater is based on our positive compliance history and our safety record. We've demonstrated that we are capable and qualified to operate this facility in a manner that safely protects employees and causes no adverse effects to public or the environment. We've demonstrated repeatedly and consistently that risk has been safely and properly managed. We take pride in what we do and how we do it, and this includes our commitment to meeting and exceeding environmental health and safety standards. And should the Commission award Nordion with a site license for a period of 10 years or greater, I can assure you that we will continue to foresee and anticipate ways to improve our environmental health and safety systems and standards. We will meet and exceed the regulatory requirements identified by the CNSC, and we will continue to work with CNSC staff and keep lines of communication open. Thousands and thousands of people depend on Nordion for the critical products we produce and deliver every single day. This includes suppliers, customers, physicians, and their patients. There's a significant benefit to Canadian society and the global healthcare community from Nordion's production and supply of radioisotopes for diagnosing and treating disease, and for sterilization of medical products and irradiation of food products. We continue to be a symbol of the benefits the nuclear industry brings to society. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present on behalf of Nordion, and we would be pleased to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you.